Dalawang chicken joy, isang palabok, tatlong spaghetti, tsaka
Pare, sobrang tindi
bread,
nito.
bread.
Woohoo! Tangina! Putangina!
Para po, para dyan lang sa kanto,
Woo!
tabi lang, may bababa po, meron pong bababa, para po, para, ganon.
Sobrang solid.
Paulit nga nung in-order namin. Hello?
What a
Hello?
lovely intro.
Ulit po.
Yes, I hope everyone is doing well. I'd like to welcome all of you beautiful listeners to part 2 of Feeding Your Soul. You guys are tuned in to Yohan Time, the podcast. Before you start listening, I recommend you watch episode 3 or part 1 of this 3-part series. If you don't want to naman, I can't force you, diba? And if it's against your will, it's called rape. Well, unless you have rape fantasies, which I respect. After all, what makes you happy makes me happy. So, our topic is recognizing soul food and discovering our calling. By the end of the podcast, we will be able to answer what is our calling. So, by now, if you've listened to the previous episode, we learned how to find what we value. And in this episode, I'll tell you how to recognize soul food. Ready? Okay, let's start. First, we should realize that what we value is not soul food. Soul food kasi could be anything we as humans take in. Taking in means immersing ourselves into, diving in, indulging and exposing ourselves into something. So diba, it wouldn't work when, for example, you value peace and tranquility. Tapos yung tinry mong soul food mo is partying and clubbing. So it won't make any sense. First of all, you wouldn't enjoy it. And soul food should be enjoyable. Second is you would be more stressed out. And getting stressed out means starving your soul. So that's not the way to go. So back at partying, naisip mo na, I guess next time could be different. And you would think na you need more. Pero kahit gaano ka kadalas pumarty, hindi ka pa rin ma-fulfill. Kasi nga, you're feeding your soul with the wrong food. If you value peace and tranquility, go meditate, read a book, go nature tripping, wildlife photography. There are lots of hobbies out there for your soul. And I mentioned hobbies. Yes, hobbies are in a way food for the soul. And in some best case, a profession. Pero madalang mangyari yun. Kung ano yung hobby mo, yun din yung profession mo. Minsan delikado pa nga kasi yung profession natin tend to burn us out. And nakakainis, di ba, pag naumay ka sa paborito mong pagkain. It's the same thing. Ayaw rin natin maumay yung soul natin sa paborito nating gawin. And work has a tendency to do that. That's what we usually call burnout when we fall out of love in the things we used to love to do. Gets? Anyway, back to how to recognize real and genuine soul food. So let's say during your search for value, you found out that you value creativity, crafting, and engineering. So this is just an example, huh? And your hobby is miniature modeling. While you create your model, this feeds your soul, and finishing something you worked so hard for makes you feel fulfilled. Another example is that, for example, you value people and their welfare. So your hobby should be spending time with your friends and seeing them happy. And your career could be an entertainer, a doctor, or even a comedian. Another exempli gratia is that if you value friends and family, your hobbies could be going to parties and being a motivational speaker, or a model, or even a performer, or a dancer, or an actor, like that. So, remember the list of things you wrote down to find out what you value? Go back to that list you came up with while finding out what you value back in part 1, and this will help you discover what fulfills you or what you should feed your soul. In my case, so I value beauty, diba? Which means that I feed my soul with things I find beautiful. If my senses consider it beautiful, then I immerse myself in it. Or sometimes I draw or doodle. I find a hobby that feels good and somewhat fulfilling, which is creating something beautiful, diba? After that, there's a point where you will recognize with a certain hobby. You will feel deeply involved in it, and people will notice you for it. Society will tell you that you're good at it, and they will be willing to pay you for it. Once you recognize this, you should keep at this hobby and keep doing it. This develops your soul and it hones you to be sharper. Don't quit until it becomes very, very sharp. When it becomes very sharp, you now have what I call an edge. And now you have just discovered your edge, or more famously known as your calling. Naks, may calling ka na. Pero bakit nga ba calling? Who calls you? The fuck is this mysterious caller? Sino ba to? Friends, the simple answer is that the universe is calling you. And the universe has its ways. Maybe through other people, or through society, or whatever. So you should be wary of this because this is important. Sino ba gusto mabuhay ng walang calling, di ba? Anyway, the point is that you have developed your soul with a certain hobby and that you got exceptionally good at it. You should recognize and claim it because you have reached what most people haven't. So marami sa atin yung hindi nakaka-achieve ng level na to. So, once you recognize your edge, you should use it wisely. When you have discovered your calling, keep at it and find out how you can use it to contribute for the good of humanity. Kasi at this point, it's not just about ourselves. Your soul is fulfilled and is overflowing in abundance. Now you have to direct that overflow towards others for the benefit of humanity and in life in general. Pero paano ba yun? Ika nga ni Sir Monty, mayonnaise. Paano mangyayari yun? Pero ganito yan. The body is the structure. The mind is the pilot. And the soul is what connects you to other entities. Or yung navigation at comms ng eroplano. Kung pilot yung mind, tapos yung soul ay yung navigation, yung body naman yung structure ng plane. So, yun yung allegory. So, be selfless. Live for life. If you're one of those people na I don't give a fuck, my soul is dark and fucking hardcore. Tangina. And ikaw na, those words are signs of a starving soul. So, ever wonder why some people feel like sunshine, parang ang saya at ang bright nila, and other people drains your energy? It's the soul, pare. What else could it be, diba? So, where were we? Okay, so now at this point, you know what you value. You know what to feed your soul. And you have identified your calling, and you know what your edge is. Si Edge, naalala ko tuloy si Edge sa wrestling. So si Triple H. Anyway, I'll end with this quote. A knife is a very useful tool, but only if we know how to use it. The finer the edge of your knife, the easier it is for you to cook food. Soul food. Diba? Lupet! Ang ganda. Anyway, that's it for now. Learn how to channel your overflowing soul to the benefit of life and humanity in the next episode of Yohan Time, the podcast. Thank you. Be kind, respect each other, and share the podcast so that we reach more people. Again, this is Yohan signing off. Till next time. Over and out.
Para po. Para dyan lang sa kanto. Sabi lang, may bababa po. Meron pong bababa. Para po. Para. in order namin.